Well, my first mentor in my professional life as a journalist was my first journalism teacher. He was a man named Fred Burney, who indeed was a dedicated mentor. He was an editor of one of the newspapers, a city editor in Houston, Texas. He talked the school board into letting him volunteer one day, 5 days a week, one day for each of the five high schools, and he gave his time to visit the high schools and conduct journalism classes and help us to put out our school newspapers. We learned a great deal from Fred Burney, but besides learning the principles of journalism, we learned the ethics of journalism. He was a very strong believer in accuracy, fairness in reporting, and inculcated that in all of us, and several of us turned out to be professional journalists. He was my first mentor, no doubt about it. The next was in the same category. I went from there to the Scripps Howard newspapers and eventually to the Houston Press, where my city editor was a fellow named Roy Roussel, and he again was really a tough boss, which meant a good mentor. I think the two were simultaneous. We got down there to the business of spelling of names, to getting addresses correctly, and any small mistake, and you'd be called to his desk, and he'd say the Chronicle, our competition, had this address at 1418 Westheimer. You say 1412 Westheimer. Now, who in the devil is right? And to hear your name called out up to his desk was kind of doing penance to the mentor for failing his last lesson. If one isn't lucky enough to have mentors, I don't know quite how one would get along in life. You have to have examples, and good examples are good mentors.